Okay, so I have this video already recorded that was supposed to come out on Monday, but it didn't. But then other stuff came in, and yeah, we're just gonna ignore that one for a while. Maybe I'll redo it. I don't know, cause I got stuff and I got to share. Mostly, I have this idea that I might like do a sort of reading, kind of take you along with me vlog because of this book I want to share. But before I do that, today I got my Fireside Reads book box package. And it's a new subscription service. And I know what's in here as far as the book. And I actually own the book, but I wanted to get the package, right? See what she's doing with it. And I thought, I haven't opened it. See, it's not open. So I thought we could do this together. I could tell you a bit about it, because why not? And no, this isn't sponsored. I paid for this, and I'm more than happy to do it. But I was like, I want to see what she does. And for some reason, my scissors don't want to cut this open. And there we go. Let's go. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna do this thing. So Fireside Reads, what she's doing is taking books, and I think I've actually cut the inner bag open, but that's okay. She's taking books and creating, you know, the fun little crates with them. And I know that in the future there'll be some that are like classics. I think we've talked about that, and we've talked about, I think we mentioned like Pepper Basham's Jane by the Book, because we really like that. There's a chance, don't quote me on this because it's not announced or anything. I think she's considering doing Emma and the Reasons. I hope she does. I mean, I own that one too, and I'll still do it, because yes. So open all this up. There's a sheet. There is music. The 1920s Dancing Desert. You can scan this with your phone and listen as you read. That is so cool. Okay, I'm pretty sure this might be the book. Let's see. I know what the book is. I think everybody knows when they choose and they know, but don't quote me on that. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you can, come on. I don't want to tear the stuff because I'm a crafter, and I'm like, that is some great string. And yeah, so look at the paper that it's wrapped in. It's so cute. And it fits the book. Please be the book. I really want, yes. Okay. Okay. So the book in this first box is the creator's thing. I convinced her to do the Lost Dutchman Secret. It's part of the Ever Afters mysteries, and she has signed it for us. But okay, so I love the Ever Afters mysteries. I have 3 books in it myself, but this, out of all the ones I've read, this one's my favorite. It was so good. It was so good. It's a lot longer than most of them, but it was so good. It was just, and maybe that's why it was so good, right? But yeah, it takes place in the Superstition Mountains, Apache Junction area, Arizona, in the 1920s. It is Rumpelstiltskin as a mystery, and just so good. So the character in here, she's really neat. I can't remember her name. Eleanor? No, it's not Eleanor. Dorothy. So Dorothy, I'm going to take these glasses off because they're bothering me up there, you know. So Dorothy, this is the 20s, you know, the roaring 20s, but this is Arizona in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, back even before this area had much. And Dorothy is living with her dad, who is, he is a piece of work. You want to throw the book constantly because you're so mad at the dad, but she is just such a sweetheart. And she's not perfect, but she's striving to be perfect as her Heavenly Father is perfect, but not in a really annoying way, which is kind of cool. But all she knows, I mean, like, she wears her mother's old clothes because that's all she has. So it's the 20s, and she's wearing, like, this Edwardian or before clothing because it's what she has. And, you know, so she has friends who are much more hip, if you will. And she's just like, yeah, no. So, but on top of that, things like, and I love what, you know, Rebecca, she thought it all out. So here's this girl who has only had her mother's instruction and then what she hears and sees in church and what she sees in her Bible, which is King James, you know, because 1920s, that's what most people would have had. And like her prayers are very thee and thou infused because it's what she's heard, is all she knows. And just that kind of attention to detail, which wouldn't work for a contemporary novel. You know, someone doing that now, you would be like, why are you doing that? Because we get enough exposure to who uses it anymore. There are some, but not many. But between hymns and church and the Bible she reads, it's all she knows. And I just love that Jones thought of that and put it in there. But the mystery is good. The story is good. It's very light on the romance side, which is amazing. I loved it because with all that she's got going, the last thing she needs is a heavy romance, right? So it's almost a if you've read Found Treasure by Grace Livingston Hill, it's that sort of romance, almost. It might be just a squeak more, but not much. So this is the book. This is the music. And then we have, ooh, what's this? Let's find out. And she's killing me here. She's killing me here. She's doing exactly what I would do, and she's knotting it so it looks nice and stays nice, but it's making it really hard for me. Fine. Okay, that's off. So what's this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to just totally destroy this paper because I feel like it'd be really fun to journal with. You know? I mean, wouldn't it be cool? Oh, I know what this is. Ah. Okay, come on. Right. There is, this goes with the book. So there is that. Oh, this is nice and floppy leather. I like the floppiness. Oh, wow. It's dot grid. Oh, wow. That is so cool. It even has little date lines on it. I should reread the book and take notes with the journal. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. So, leather journal, actual leather journal. Nice, nice. And then an envelope. Oops, it helps to open it from the right end. Aha! This, I probably should have read first. All right, let's see what it says. Da, da, da. Oh, look, she kept it with the 20s theme from the cover. I love the artwork on these books. I should get them from up there and show you in a second. I love the artwork on these books. It's by Joshua Markey. He does my book strings covers. And yeah, his artwork is phenomenal. This is her looking out from the Lost Dutchman mine. Yeah, so cool, so cool. Anyway, and yeah, it features the Lost Dutchman mine. If you know anything about the Superstition Mountains, you will know about the Lost Dutchman mine. And whew, yeah. Okay. Dear subscriber, hope you're excited about this month's book box. I had so much fun getting it ready for you. A brief summary and explanation of the items included are as follows. We will stop here because there are a few more things. Okay. We have prickly pear cactus. I love prickly pears so much. But the Cactus Candy Company. Let's do this. Let's find out. Is it good? Let's find out. It's prickly pear, so it should be good. Ooh, it's a gummy. I'm just going to take a little piece. Yep. That is good. Okay. Okay. Ooh. And then, oh, I love it. I love it. She did the Charleston chew. That is great. I mean, it's perfect for the year. Oh, wait a minute. There's more. But wait, there's more. Oh, look at this. A K-cup coffee cup. It says Sumatrain, something train. Java House, hot and cold. Use it with K-cup brewer or with water and ice. Oh, very cool, very cool. So for coffee people, I will definitely pass that along to my coffee drinkers. I don't drink coffee. So anyway, okay, so it says The Lost Dutchman Secret by Rebecca Jones. Take a step back into the 1920s Arizona, surrounded by murder, secrecy, and a deep hunger for the gold allegedly hiding in the legendary Lost Dutchman gold mine. Coffee. During the 1920s, the popularity of coffee rose dramatically in the United States. While Dorothy wouldn't be pouring her coffee from a cold brew capsule beneath the shadow of the Superstition Mountains, it does seem like a good modern equivalent. Pour into a mug, add 8 ounces of hot water or cold if you prefer. And you can imagine you're drinking a cup right along with Dorothy. Cactus candy. Cactus candy has been around for decades, and Arizona is known for cacti and treats made from that cacti. Archie Sinclair may well have indulged in the occasional cactus candy treat. The Charleston Chew. This candy bar was created in 1925 and has been enjoyed by many ever since. Dorothy probably never had such a treat, but the Sinclairs would have had the means to enjoy it. Keepsake. For this book, I have selected a lovely leather journal, in part because of the use of the journal in the mystery. I won't say more, as I don't want to give away anything. The music, a cheerful 1920s piece with a gentle desert background. That could lead a dance, but isn't too chaotic for conversation or reading. Enjoy solving the mystery in 1920 Arizona. So we have all the things. This is so cool. I love it. So I'm going to get those other mysteries and just show real quick what they've done, because why not? This is just the 1920s/30 set, but these are, again, these are mysteries set in the 20s and are fairy tale retellings. So the first one was My Last Gasp, and it is Hollywood, so Hollywood royalty, and we have Gary Prince, or Garrison Prince, and he is a huge star in Hollywood, but he's leaving it to go to basically Biola, and it was right at the beginning of their school, and he knows one of the cigarillo girls at the Taj Mahal. It's kind of like Roman's Chinese theater, but I created my own because I had to do terrible things to it, and I didn't want to do that to Roman. So, you know, that's changing history quite a bit. So, but yeah, all kinds of murder and mayhem in this one. And then this next one is A Giant Murder by Margie Lane. And in this one, the tagline says, "Would you like a shot of death with that, sir?" So in this one, there's a big party at this big building for this bean tycoon. So yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk. When the pilot falls in 1923, there aren't many pilots, but Willie LeBeau didn't let that stop her. So this is a 1923 retelling of East of the Sun, West of the Moon, or vice versa, East of the Moon, West of the Sun. I don't remember. I think it's East of the Sun, West of the Moon. But anyway, which is kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling. But she is a stunt pilot in the 20s, and she meets someone who is really secretive about his family and all the shenanigans that go on there. Murder at the Empire by Kathy Swanson. In this one, she is an organist. So this is the Nightingale. But there are trinkets going missing at the place. People die. And then there's the story. And then I've already told you about the Lost Dutchman Secret. This one says, there's a deadly secret in them thar hills, and gold, or so they say. And then the Nutcracker Suite, which is, the tagline says, time to dance, sugar plum. But in this one, it's the mob in my fictional Rockland. And this young girl had been an orphan, and she comes to work for a toy factory, and they have to make all these nutcrackers for the bad guys, and she doesn't know why. And then when someone dies, it all starts coming out, and she's got to find out who did it before the wrong person gets accused. And that one was fun. That was a lot of fun. And that one of the funnest things was trying to find a way, you know, how can I introduce things that were familiar to the time without it being just like confusing or too telly. And so one of the things she does is she decides she's too staid, and so she's going to try to learn how to use slang, and she's no good at it. It was fun to write that. It was really fun. And Milo, the guy in that one, he is just, bless his heart, he is like this tough mobster dude, except when he's around her, and then he's just a total mess. And my poor narrator, bless her heart, I didn't realize until I was listening to it back as I was editing, and I went, oh no, she's going to have a nightmare of a time reading this. And she did, but she still speaks to me, so that just shows what a gracious woman Krista Del Sorbo is. Anyway, Silencing the Siren was Denise Varela's debut novel. This is The Little Mermaid, told on Coney Island with a girl who has conjoined legs, and all that comes with that. And then we have Slashed Canvas, which is The Lost Princess by George MacDonald. This is by Liz Tolsma, and in this one there is a Russian royalty in France, and she spends all her time staring at this canvas, and then everything goes south. And then the last one in the 1920s, and plus the bridge, is my Ransomed Greta. And in this one, it's just at they're about ready to declare war. It's not quite there. I think it's 1937 and 38 in Austria. And they had that Kinder transport, which was like Operation Pied Piper, but it was taking the Jewish children out of Germany, and Germany was allowing it for a while. And so it's kind of like that's going on. Well, they discovered that there's a place, when it starts slowing down, there's a place up by Salzburg where a woman is still helping children out. So a mother gets convinced to send her daughter. Another mother gets convinced to send her son. But they're not sending their children to what they thought they were. And this is Hansel and Gretel. So, yeah. This one, I'm just going to warn people, if you want a very satisfying, justice is served ending, this is a wartime murder mystery. And it's not satisfying in that way. I think it's realistic instead of just satisfying. So I'm throwing that out there. I haven't had any complaints, but I expected that I would get them, and I didn't. So there's that. But that's those mysteries, and I'm just sharing because why wouldn't I, since I have this whole package of super cool mystery stuff. Let me see if I can pile it all up here. I'm going to give away a copy of this book because I already have one. So, yeah, just comment and tell me if you know about the Lost Dutchman mine. That and that whole legend of the Lost Dutchman. So there's all these cool little things that I got. It's so cool. I love it. So anyway, there's that. But then, okay. I already have quite a stack of new books that have come in. But one of them I have to share now. Because I think it was on Miriam's channel that I saw this book, Saving Ellipsis. It says, in Ellipsis, a small and quiet town lying quite literally between the lines of a manuscript, life revolves around the text, capital T. Everyday letters and punctuation marks are scribbled, polished, and patched up to preserve the words the author, capital A, wrote and abandoned many years ago. Unlike her fellow townspeople and their passion for all things literature, Prosperina Dash has embraced a career as a florist. But when she discovers a dead body at her shop and the foundations of Ellipsis start crumbling away for no apparent reason, she sets off to the capital in a desperate attempt to save her town from collapsing. And then someone says, a delightful and unique story for every book lover who fancies an adventure with a dash of mystery. I mean, this cover is just stunningly beautiful. But guys, I had no idea how amazing this book was until I got it. And I'm going to show you because it's that cool. I'm only going to show you a tiny little bit at the beginning, and then we're going to start reading, because please pray that this book is good. Because I'm just like, I'm so excited. So let's check this out. All right. So you open the book. And of dashes and hyphens. And then there's a cute little illustration. Isn't that sweet? And like I said, I'm only going to go a little bit. Oh, look, there's another one. And only a little bit. La Vie en Rose. But all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait, what? This book gets more and more fun with every change. The sentence killed me. I love this so much. Look at that. Ah! Isn't this awesome? Okay, this is where I'm going to stop after this. But I mean, isn't that cool? But there's the, oops. Sorry, the whole book is full of stuff like this. I'm not telling you what's in there because I don't know yet and I want to find out. So, let's go along for the ride and do some reading because, guys, seriously, this is super cool. The love of punctuation. Ernest was Prosperina's brother. She would never forget the day when, still only a young girl, she had dared him to swallow the dictionary. Her younger brother had been forbidden to do it again, a mild punishment, all things considered, but had suffered ever since from an excessively convoluted style of expressing himself. So far, this is hilarious. I'm just saying. Brilliant word usage. Also, brilliant word usage for a book that was translated from French. How did that even work? The guy doesn't have a name anymore because he lost it in the Battle of the Umlauts. That's genius. Well, it's the first one. I hope it's the last. I love it. I love it. I love it. Since when did people come to her shop to die?
Okay, guys, now the even better part. Are you ready? There are these flowers here. She owns this flower shop, right? There are these flowers here they call daisy phrases. And it's, if you get them before, while it's still dark, and you whisper something to them, it'll etch itself on their stems. So, like, you can send a happy birthday message to someone by getting to the daisy phrase flower before, while it's still dark, and whispering happy birthday so-and-so. And then it might take a day or two, but then you give someone that flower, and it's got happy birthday etched into the stem. That is so cute. I want daisy phrases. Where can I get some daisy phrases? I need daisy phrases.
Okay, this was fun. Normally I don't like it when they do that, but that's hilarious. In this book, it works. Hey, Neville, is it good? Neville, is it good? Yeah. How about you, Foofy? Is it good? Look at you taking your time. Hey, Neville. Hi. All right, guys. So, as far as I understand this, the purpose of a book, of a log, is to, like, share as you read. And I started off, you saw, I did okay. But then I kind of forgot because I got involved in the book until I absolutely was forced to put it down. And since I was forced to put it down, that means there was literally no time to do anything but go. So yeah, and then when I came back, I was like, I'll do better. It's okay if we'll call it the sloggy vloggy middle, right? Yeah, no, because then I started reading and I kept reading and I kept forgetting. So that says something for the book. There's so many things to say. So starting off with the story. Let's just start with the general story. I'm going to call this LMNOP by Mark Dunn meets fantasy with a sprinkling or a garnish of George Orwell. It's got shades of like Animal Farm or 1984, just a layer here or two. So it's a light, very light, but there is that in there. This is one of those books that proves why subtext is so important. And I gotta say, before we even get into that story, this author is great. I mean, this was a fun book. But it was translated by Ben Frankton, or Francon. Maybe glasses would help. I'm getting double letters. Oh, that's because there are double F's. There's two F's in Frank. It's Francon Davies and Margaret Morrison. So it's translated by Ben Franken Davies, and which is kind of funny, Ben Franken. Anyway, and Margaret Morrison. Here's the deal. This book was written in French. The plays on words and the idioms and all the things that fit so perfectly and just illustrate so beautifully are that way in English. So they not only translated words, but they translated nuances and wrote it to fit. They had to have, because there's no way that this book would be as genius as it is in English otherwise. So that's pretty impressive, I just gotta say. So let's look at the basic story, because this is I have so many things to say I'm gonna forget. So the basic story is you have, it's clear, I think, pretty obviously, that there's going to be a romance. It's a very light romance, thank you. But it's an loath to love kind of thing. But you've got your kind of arrogant jerk, if you will. And then you're, not like any other girl. So I mean, it feels like it should be trite and hackneyed in the characters and stuff, but there's a point to it all, which is really, really cool. But I gotta say, something's gone wrong. They've got to fix it. and fixing it creates new problems, and then it all, you know, it somehow has to work out in the end, but it's not a shiny happily ever after either. Okay, so there's all that. But there's so much more. So this is like a book within a book within a book, and maybe another book within. So it's Prosperina, and that could be Ernest. So Ernest, just as an example of the silliness and the funness in this book. It also has kind of given him, I'm going to call it wordly superpowers that he doesn't know about yet, which was really fun. So what we have here is, on the surface, this is the world created by a young girl who starts writing a book when she's a teenager. And then with an unfinished sentence, she shoves it in the drawer, and it's like 35 years later. Up until now, all the people and the town and everything that has been created by the creating of this book have been keeping up the manuscript, taking care of it and everything, but stuff starts disintegrating. And their job is to fix it, except that then something isn't fixable and they can't figure out why. And her idea is that she's got to finish that sentence. But how do you do that? And in the meantime, someone is killed, and they have to figure out why. How did this even happen? What's going on? And there are lots of clues as to nuances in it that you miss. Because on the one hand, it seems like if you just read through it and you don't pay attention, it seems like just a fun little story. But there are so many layers in it that I don't think I caught them all. I'm definitely going to have to read it again. And I would definitely say that you want to read a physical copy if possible, or an ebook. I don't think this is an audio book because you will miss, there are lots of, I'm going to fan it fast, because if I don't, I don't want to, I don't think it would give anything away, but I want to take a chance. So, but there are just lots of things that you would just totally miss in an audio. But now that I've read it, I feel like I want to hear the audio if it's any good. And if there even is one. I don't even know if there is one. I mean, look at that page. There's so much going on in that page. And there was this one spot where someone is just screaming at someone, and haven't you ever felt like that when someone was yelling at you? Yeah, it's one of the reasons that that's one of the few things I won't tolerate. You yell at me and I'm going to walk away. I will not engage. I will not stay. It's not going to happen. I'm not. It's just everybody's got their limit. That's my limit. Don't yell at me. But so it is deceptively simple, and yet there are so, oh my goodness, there's so many layers. And it's like all the things that I want to say and I don't want to forget, and I'm forgetting them all. So because of the Orwell / fantasy element in here, there's also that kind of conspiracy theory thing going on, and nobody really believes it, but it's there, and it's pretty cool. So Neville, just go into her room. Leave her alone. You'll see parallels with right now. They even, do they call it wordly warming? I think they call it wordly warming. There's even reference to that. And there is a revolutionary car company in here who does things unbelievably impossible, if you will. And they're like, wait, this is doing things that nobody else is doing. And I love what the author did with it, because it shows like the other side. There are things that don't make sense until they do. It's like, the problem is no matter what you say, you're afraid of giving away spoilers. And it's not that the spoilers matter that much to the story. On the one hand, they really don't, but they matter to the reading experience, which is different. I will say Honorius in here has probably like half a dozen uses of D, and which I didn't appreciate, but it's less than John Sebastian Farrell from Halifax, so there's that. But I have to say they're judiciously added. If those kinds of things aren't your favorite, but they don't really bother you, this isn't going to bother you. If any reference to anything at all bothers you, it'll bother you. But I don't know, it just didn't feel gratuitous per se. One use is by Ernest, and it's not used in the biblical sense or anything, but it's not used as an expletive as much as, can I do this? Say it. And that's all I'm giving you. So it's kind of different there. The book is genius. I'm giving it 5 stars. I want to say not because of the story, because the story is so simple, but on the other hand, the story is crazy complex, even though it appears to be simple. I don't know what to do with this, because it stands on its own. It is so unique, and it's one of those things where I hope the author does more, and yet I'm afraid of it, because who can come up with something this clever and this unusual? Again, this is a book that readers and word lovers will love because of what is done with it. But not only that, if the author did this again, isn't that stunning? But if the author did this again, there's still another problem. Without the same translators, I don't know if it would be as good. Because, you know, this is her story. And there are lessons and all the things in this story. But without them in English, this just wouldn't be a good book. It couldn't be a good book without fabulous translators who knew how to take the point of the story in French and make it apply in English. And I just but there are just the nuances. I don't know. There's so many things to say. It's so good. Can I just say it's just so good? And I don't know what else to tell you. But if fantasy if fantasy in the sense of spec ficky thing where magical realism sorts of kinds of things aren't your thing, this you probably won't enjoy it, because the impossible does happen, and yet in this world it is possible. I mean, you have people who are killed, and how they are killed means they're delettered. Their names are delettered, so they are removed. The letters are gone, and they're removed from history. They don't exist anymore. They never did, because it's all within the pages of a story within a story within a story. It's just so genius, and it's fun, and it's whimsical, and it's silly, and yet it's not. It's silly in that it kind of makes fun of itself, and yet it's not silly in that it's ridiculous and who wants to read that. I don't know how to define it. And I've tried to write a review for this thing. I don't know how I'm going to write a review. I don't know. Because it's just so much fun. There is a plant in here that reminds me of it's like a Venus flytrap type plant, and it has a role. This plant has a role, and things would not go well for them without this plant. But I think that's the plant. I can't, Triptis, something like that. But there were twists in here. There was one that I totally expected. But then well, there were several that I expected. But one of them, when something that I didn't expect happened, then I thought I was wrong about that one. And I wasn't. And that was really weird. Now that I think about it, I couldn't have done this as I was reading. Because, well, I could have, but I would have had to cut it all out, because what I would have shared, I would have thought was completely safe, and I would have had to pull it out. I really can't tell a lot about the book. So much for my, you know, read along with me vloggy kind of thing, because I couldn't have told you. The more I think about it, the more sure of that I am. So anyway, Saving Ellipsis, I loved it. 5 stars all the way. I will read anything this gal comes up with that is similar-ish, especially if it's translated by these guys, but I don't know if it'll be anywhere near as good. But I would love to be wrong about that. So anyway, if you've read it, I want to know what you thought. If you haven't read it, I think you should, because I think it's good. But not everybody's going to agree with me. Not everybody likes this kind of whimsy. I get that. But anyway, it's almost time for church. I gotta go, but I'll see you guys. I think on Thursday I'm gonna do my mid-month, because I've got a lot of books read, and then we'll move along from there. Yeah, let's do that. See you later.